Well, good morning. How's everybody doing? All right. So I wanted to wait a little bit to talk about this boxing situation. Yes, I got all of your DMs. Yes, I got all of your questions about this Olympic boxing situation. This is what I'm going to say. I didn't jump on board because there's a lot of conflicting reports going on about this situation in the Olympics with the Algerian boxer versus the Italian boxer. The Algerian boxer, there's conflicting reports. Some say she was born female. She just has a much higher testosterone count, but has the male chromosome. Okay. There's a lot of controversy surrounding by this, but this is what I want to say about this. You can argue she was born female and just has higher testosterone. You can say that she has the chromosomes of a male. The bottom line is this. The bigger picture still remains the same. Men do not belong in women's sports. I don't care about this instance. You guys can argue this instance back and forth all you want. Whether she was born female, whether she was born male, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. Because of the Biden-Harris administration changing the words to Title IX to allow biological men to compete against biological women is not okay. All while toting that they care so much about women's rights, when clearly they took away our female athletes' rights. So you can argue this whole boxing situation. Yes, I think it was sad. Yes, I don't think that it was okay for this woman to go up against this person. But in fact, it doesn't change the bigger picture. It doesn't change the bigger picture. I know it's going viral right now, and I wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into it instead of just running with the story, because I keep seeing a lot of conflicting reports. Some say she was born a female, and I don't really know, and I don't want to be pushing out wrong information because there is a lot of wrong information, and you know how I feel about the mainstream media. The mainstream media and journalism is dead. It's dead. What you get is bias and opinion-based reporting at this point. So it's hard to not jump on a story when it first comes out as breaking to bring it to your platform. You know, I don't want to do that. I want to be as honest as possible, because I think if you're not, it's just disingenuous and you are exasperating the problem of the media pushing agendas instead of news. Okay? So because I wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into this, I didn't just jump on this story. So I do appreciate all your DMs and all of your, I get it. I got them, and the videos, I get them. But the bigger picture still remains. Men do not belong in our spaces. They don't belong in our bathrooms. They don't belong in our locker rooms. They don't belong in our changing rooms. And they damn sure do not belong in sports. There has been case after case after case of biological women getting seriously hurt because they were forced to go up against a trans athlete. Listen, I don't care if you want to live your life a different sex or gender that you were born with. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care. You are able to live your life in this country however you want to, but it doesn't give you the right to take away from somebody else's rights. And that is exactly what the Biden administration has done by rewording Title IX. It is now allowing for, and I believe that went into play yesterday, allowing biological men into our spaces, and that is not okay. All of the feminists out there, if you call yourself a feminist and you're okay with the rewording of Title IX by the Biden administration and then still touting feminism for the Democrats, then you're not a feminist. You're just an ideology pusher, okay? Because the feminists that fought really hard, that have come before you, would be turning over in their graves right now if they saw biological men competing against biological women to the point where biological women were getting hurt because of it. The only way this stops, ladies, is if all of you stand up and say, we're not doing this. We are not competing unless it's another biological woman, because it makes it an unfair playing advantage. There's biological differences between men and women. The fact that we are in this age that we have to actually say this out loud is outstanding at this point, okay? Yes, I would call myself somewhat of a feminist, absolutely. And I don't think that biological men should be anywhere near our areas. And we have that inherent right to have female-only spaces, okay, where we can feel safe as females, all right? And this is coming from a sexual abuse survivor, okay? I don't even go to men doctors because I'm uncomfortable. I damn sure wouldn't be happy getting undressed in a locker room faced with a whole-ass male that I don't even know. I'm sorry, but we should have the right in America to say that as women. Where have we gotten that this is okay? So while you guys want to fight back and forth whether this boxer was a female born or a male born, it doesn't change the bigger picture that men do not belong in our spaces, especially when women have gotten hurt because of being forced to go up against a trans athlete. They have lost scholarships, they have lost awards, and these are our female athletes. We should be supporting them 100,000%. 100,000% and up. So yes, I stand with the Riley Gaines of this world that are fighting this fight. Why are our female athletes in 2024 having to fight their own government for the right to compete against other biological females? Why? Because that party that keeps touting to you about women's rights that they supposedly care so much about, really when it comes to just murdering the unborn children, because that's the only thing they really seem to care about, but they don't care about this topic. And this topic is a very important topic. You want to know why it's important, ladies? Because it's important to your future generation of children, of daughters, of granddaughters, of nieces. It's important. Men and women's sports are separated for a reason. And again, I have no issues with the trans community. You should be able to live your life the way that you want, but you shouldn't be able to take away from the rights of somebody else. You wouldn't want someone taking away your rights. You want to compete? I think the biggest way to say it is maybe start a trans league, so you can compete against other trans people. I don't see what the big problem is with that, but apparently that makes me some kind of a homophobic bigot. I don't get it, but me standing up for women's rights, actual women's rights, I'm not going to stop doing that. So you can argue back and forth about the boxing situation. Of course, I don't think that it was okay, but the bigger picture still remains. Because of Biden and because of Kamala Harris, they changed the words to Title IX to allow biological men to compete against biological women. And it's not okay, all while telling you that they care so much about women's rights. So take the boxing story as just one story. There are thousands of stories of girls being hurt by being forced to go up against biological men. They lose trophies, they lose scholarships. So what are we doing, America? What are we doing, females? What are we doing, ladies? So if you call yourself a feminist, let me tell you something. You're not. Because if you support biological men being able to beat on biological women, I don't know what to tell you, but that's not feminism. You're an ideology pusher and not a feminist. Okay? So I didn't jump on that boxing story because there's so many conflicting stories going on. Whether the chromosomes were this, whether she was born this way, it doesn't change the bigger picture that men do not belong. Democrats, say it with me. Ready? Men do not belong in women's sports. Okay? So stop telling yourself that you're a Democrat and you care for women's rights when you are completely okay with this kind of crap happening. Title IX was put into place to protect our female and men athletes, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris changed it to allow biological men to compete against biological women. That fact doesn't change. That is the truth. So I try to be as honest as possible when I come out here. I don't just typically go into the media headlines because we all know it's just biased, opinion-based reporting at this point. So I want to do a big deep dive, and there's a lot of controversy around this person. But again, the fact state remains the same. They do not belong against women's sports, period. End of story. They don't belong in our bathrooms, our changing rooms, and our sports teams. And it is our right as older female generations to stand for our younger female generations. So take the boxing story as just one of many. Let me say it one more time, Democrats. Men do not belong in women's spaces. Okay? So this is just one story. Look at the bigger picture. You can't scream women's rights while taking away our females' actual rights to compete against other biological women. Okay? Because you're being gaslit by the Democrat Party as usual. And like I said, I'm going to stand with the party that stands with our female athletes. And I'm sorry, but that is not the Democrat Party. Okay? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I stand with the women athletes of this world and our rights to fair sports, fair competition. Okay? Trump 2024, and good talk.